opposition leaders are voicing concern over the future of the country's multi-party democracy. In a rare joint statement, figures including Atiku Abubakar, David Mark, and Peter Obi accused the government of politicizing anti-corruption agencies to immediate rivals. Now, they warn that selective enforcement and pressure on governors to defect risk eroding trust in institutions and pushing the country towards one-party dominance. The leaders are calling for independent audits and stronger safeguards, urging citizens to remain vigilant in defending democratic space. Now, what are the implications of these claims for governance, accountability, and Nigeria's political future? Joining me to discuss this and more is Cynthia Mbamalu. She's the Director of Programs, YIAGA Africa. She joins virtually from Abuja. And also Professor Simeon Nnah is a Public Affairs Analyst. He joins virtually from Lagos. Gentleman and lady, thank you for your time. Before we get into the crux of the conversation tonight, I'll first like to get your feel on the Supreme Court judgment as regards the president's power to suspend an elected governor, under a state of emergency. This has been generating reactions. I'll start with you, Professor.
Thank you very much for having me. When the news broke on Monday, I called some lawyers. I sent messages to them because I felt it was an aberration. I'm not a lawyer, so I needed the input of lawyers. And I was not disappointed because all of them, the verdict was that it is not the right thing to do. That I don't understand. I don't understand why the Supreme Court will make a 360 degrees. Thank God there was one of them that had a dissenting voice. And we have seen cases where a minority report turns out to be what is accepted. A case in point is that of Oputa in a high court that today is being cited in the appellate court. So you see, and that was why he was made chairman of that Oputa panel, the Truth Commission that was now tagged Oputa panel. It was because he did not agree with the majority and he went ahead to write his minority report. And I think that situation is playing back today because we had one of the judges that wrote a minority report. And some of the lawyers that I spoke to are supporting the judge with that minority report. This is not the first time we are having, what do you call it? We are having an emergency rule in Nigeria. We had it during the time of Obasanjo. Yes, he suspended governor, but the Supreme Court did not categorically make any points in that. It didn't say it was right or it was wrong.
All right.
But in the case of Jonathan, the Supreme Court was out to say that it was wrong to suspend elected officers. And the Attorney General of the Federation then equally advised Jonathan not to do that.
All right,
so
Professor.
I don't know why they made a U-turn this time around. This issue is what we have been complaining, that this administration has just bought over everybody. Because everybody now is on your mandate we stand.
Well, let's, of course, I just needed to, of course, get that out of the way. But let's switch the conversation right now to the crux of what we are discussing this evening. To you, Cynthia, there are strong concerns that the country is gradually snowballing into a one-party state with the gale of defections that we are seeing and what some have described as selective justice by certain government or certain political institutions. What's your take, Cynthia, on what we are seeing ahead of 2027? Is Nigeria's democratic space currently being eroded?
Well, I think your last statement, it gives us an inclination on what we're dealing with. Yes, this is a growing threat to our developing democracy. Already we are struggling with a democracy that is yet to stand solidly on its two legs. And what we have now is a democracy struggling to even stand. If you look at the spate of the levels of defection, we're moving to a system, we're already actually in a system of one party dominance. Now there's a difference with when you have a ruling party and when you have an overbearing influence and dominance of a party. Post-2023 elections, we had some level of I wouldn't say balance, but you had about 20 states that had the ruling APC. You had about, I think, about 13 states that had the People's Democratic Party as the ruling party at that level. Then you had like APGA in Anambra, Imo, and NNPP in Kano. Not Imo, Abia in Labour Party. But what you have now is, as it is now, about 26 states. So if you think about 2023 to December this year, 26 states currently have moved. The governors have moved to the ruling APC. And what this means is already you have more than 2/3 of the states controlled by one party. So that for me in itself is a major threat. Now, this is minus defections in the National Assembly and in the state houses of assembly. And so what we have now is a further weakening of opposition structures. The People's Democratic Party, for instance, that had about 13 states that it was under its control, now has barely about 6, because remember Osun moved too.
But sorry, so I'm just quickly going to stay with you, Cynthia, on this, because we're also trying to race for time. Many of those that defected actually did state that the reason for their defection is as a result of the internal crisis and wranglings within their party. I mean, none of them actually did even state that they were coerced, even though we know that even if that was the case, they won't say it openly. But many did say that it's because of the internal wranglings of the party and they needed to protect their political interest. And when you look at it true, many of the opposition parties have internal crisis.
Well, I don't think there's any party that has not had this internal crisis, even the ruling All Progressive Congress. And in fact, with these levels of defection, I anticipate and project that there would be further crisis within the ruling APC, because when people move and promises are made, there's also a cost for alignment and realignment, especially when you run a patronage system where there are individuals who were waiting for their time to also contest for office. So there is no party that is immune from internal party and party crisis, and therefore I think we should actually be honest here, and I believe that our political class for once need to be honest to Nigerians. The reasons we're seeing this level of defection is more about protecting personal interest, and because we're thriving in a patronage system where it's almost like you're made promises to, if you switch to the opposition, that you're immune or you're protected from the arms of the law coming after you, from the organs of the law coming after you. And that is problematic, because are we promoting a culture of impunity, or are we building a democracy that lasts for Nigerian people? And the second part is the idea of our democracy is that there is a multi-party system where opposition parties can thrive and where individuals who are members of parties truly believe and hold on to the ideologies of those parties. And so what we have is, one, we have a weak political party system where the major differences within these parties are just their party logos. It's the same individuals, the same characters of people moving from one party to the next. And I do not think they care about Nigeria's democracy at this level.
All right, thank you very much. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, I will just briefly explore the strength of opposition parties, looking at the current makeup right now ahead of 2027. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guests with me. Well, because we are really pressed for time, I'll be coming quickly to you, Professor. Looking at what we're experiencing right now, what we're seeing across many of the opposition parties, internal crisis, gale of defection, and also what some would describe as pursuit of several personal interests. How strong, or what is the strength of the opposition? And I would like you to answer this in 30 seconds ahead of 2027 general elections.
Well, the plan of the ruling party is to weaken the opposition, which they have done intentionally. You talked of a gala of defections. The question is, who is causing or what is causing these defections? I'll give you two instant examples. You know, when the coalition wanted to use SDP, SDP started having issues. They left SDP and went to ADC. ADC that have never had any issue started having issues. Look at Osun. The governor just defeated Accord, and Accord started having issues. So it is the voice of Jacob and the hand of Esau. That's what is going on. The APC is just trying to create famine problems with people in these political parties so that going to the election in 2027, there will be no opposition. And that will be not good for us. I keep on saying this, that a one-party state cannot thrive in this country. So they should let other parties be. You said that people are defecting and they are saying because they want to align in the center. That's not true. I can give you a typical example. Okowa was being harassed by EFCC, and immediately he went over to APC. Nobody is talking about that harassment any longer. Recall that Comrade Oshomole, when he was the APC chairman, he said, if you defect to APC, your sins are forgiven you. If you were a sinner before, you now become a righteous person.
Professor Simeon, thank you so much. I know you have a lot to say, but we really need to go at this time. I'd like to say a big thank you. Professor Simeon Nnah is a public affairs analyst, and also Cynthia Mbamalu is the director of programs, YIAGA Africa. Gentleman and lady, once again, thank you for your time.